This video is about the nice lady, the receptionist lady here at the Port of Hood River. I went in and I showed her my hospital bracelet and explained the situation with my car, pointed it out, and let her know what was going on with it. I tried to keep it short and simple, which you can do with just one situation. And the bike nodded at me, so I figured I'd nod back at it. Anyway, she was helpful, and she said that she would let the folks here know, because I let her know that I had ingested something that I shouldn't have ingested. So, of course, I just found a golf tee. Very cool. Little plastic one, it looks like. So she says, so you're just going to hang out for a few, because I let her know I'm not safe to drive. Not yet anyway, I got to wait for that shit to work its way out of my system. She said, so you're just going to hang out for a few? I said, it's probably going to be more than a few. I literally am not safe to drive, and then, I'm going to need to get some sleep before I'll be able to drive after that, because, yeah, it's not safe to drive when you're sleep deprived. Now, I'm nearly always sleep deprived, and I have gotten more sleep in the last few days, or in the last day, I suppose, than I have in a while. I've been taking a bunch of little cat naps. My reality is scarier than a lot of people's nightmares. A lot of folks say I chose it, I wanted it, this is my doing. We don't choose how other people treat us. The way people treat us is based on their assumptions of us. Their assumptions are based off of whether or not they want to believe something to be true or not. And that all comes down to what? Popularity. Looks can make you popular. Money can make you popular. Being nice can make you popular. But to what degree? A lot of folks say nice guys finish last. Well, why is that? Just not competitive enough. That's one of the things in the animal kingdom that is pretty important. Competition. You gotta show how impressive you are. There's a lot of women that I know that told me that they are not impressed by big muscles, and they're not really into big muscles, and they think big muscles are gross, and they ended up with dudes with big muscles. Or, I don't like a guy who's all violent and thinks that violence is the answer for everything, and thinks he's got to go protect my chastity or my honor or some crap like that. And then, of course, when the situation comes down to it, that's what she's going to expect when she's drunk and running her mouth. That's exactly what he's expected to do. I'm not saying men are any better. What I'm saying is that men can be victims too. You've gotten to see how a lot of the women that I told you about, the things that they did to me, well, they also did those things to others. Michelle Quinn did not physically assault me, but the crimes committed by her department are ultimately her responsibility and her decision. She worked together with Scott DaCosta, and so did her deputies. All because Scott DaCosta wanted to hide the crimes that he'd committed. He thought he could just call me mentally ill and brush it under the rug. Well, I'm not letting that happen, am I? No, sir. This lady here at the Port Hood River, I explained it to her. She understood it well enough. She said that she would let the folks here know. They understand I'm going to be trying to get some sleep today. And she also knows that I usually stay up at the park and ride. So obviously I'm not trying to move into their parking space. She was courteous, she was kind, and she also understood that, yeah, although most of the people here in Hood River are nice enough that if they give you something to eat or something to drink, you can trust them. But you gotta understand, the number one victims for serial killers, the number one victims for the police, it's the same people, it's the homeless. Most of the prostitutes that are murdered, they're truck stop prostitutes. Most of them are not going to have the money for their own place. David Roger type, hey Sean. Hey David Roger. Anyway, for me, the top and the rest of the day to you. David Roger typed top of the morning to you. The proper response to that is and the rest of the day to you. It's a traditional Irish thing. Did you say Irish? Irish? Anyway, I gotta explain to him it was definitely not stuff I wanted in my system and that it was unsafe for me to drive. The lady here understanding that simple English is so incredible. I mean, you got no idea how many people I have explained it's not safe for me to drive. Well, why don't you drive here? Why don't you drive there? It's not safe for me to drive. It is not always safe for me to drive. There's a lot of times where if I am driving and I start thinking about my older brother, or I start thinking about Alicia or Natalie, or I start thinking about Maddie Boa or my little sister or my niece, I start thinking about Amy Spencer's kids. Yeah, at that point I'm not all right. I'm not emotionally capable of driving. I'm not emotionally capable at that point of handling my emotions. My emotions aren't hate. My emotions are loss. Now, one thing that I gotta say about religion, there's a lot of people who are using religion to hide behind. I don't rule out the possibility of there being a God. I know that according to the version of God that I was taught about, that if you don't do what Jesus wants, you're going to hell. That's what I was taught. So most of us are going to hell. Me as a scientist, I just have to accept if there is a God, I'm going to hell. All right, I can do that. What scares me though is these people who show every day that they don't believe in the God they pretend in. They use it for manipulation. And for those people, they might be on the right track with the Jesus thing. Maybe Jesus is the one and only Son of God, and he's the one and only way to heaven, and all this other stuff that you keep telling us. Maybe that is true, but it makes me sad for all these Christians because I've read the Bible, I've read the book. It's my favorite book. My favorite book out of any book ever written. My favorite part of the book is the New Testament, because that's where Jesus tells us that we don't have to follow the God of hate and wrath anymore. It's amazing how modern Christianity here in America has done a 360-degree turnaround from that. We want to teach the Rambo Jesus, don't we? We want to teach the violence is the answer. When I explained to that lady that most of the time when people that give us food or drink here in Hood River, they're being nice. But some people just want to watch the world burn, basically. What happened to me yesterday is avoidable. I could have said no to a cold drink on a hot day. I could have and should have recognized the danger in the situation, and I did. But I also thought to myself that this guy was trying to make amends. That decidedly was not the case. The thing with Daniel, I do want to explain that to you, anybody who watched those videos. I'm going to explain that real quick. Sometimes he starts staring off into the middle of nowhere and just starts giggling or smiling real big to himself. And you talk to him and he's just focused on the end of the world or something. Something off on the horizon. Zach Boatman used to do that. You just couldn't reach out to him. He just wasn't quite with it. It's kind of zoning out. Those of you who are sportsmen, you know about zoning out the crowd. You know about focusing on the task at hand. It's a lot easier to take care of the task at hand if you know all the details, if you know your job, if you do your job. Many hands make for light work. And I've just hit the point where I'm basically just talking to hear myself talk. This is supposed to be basically a thank you to the lady at the port of Hood River for understanding, and I am like I said, mentally I am not in a good way. Been up all night, most of the night. I got maybe an hour or two of sleep overall, if that. I was afraid if I went to sleep before the Port Authority opened, I'd get in trouble. So every time I was starting to nod off into nowhere land, that had popped into my head, and I'd wake up. I want to say that that lady did act in a very courteous and professional manner. She used her brilliant deductive reasoning skills to recognize the safety risks inherent in trying to force me to move along, especially since I had been cordial and proper. I did offer to show her my hospital papers and allow her to take a photocopy of it if she wanted or needed. She didn't need. I got a notepad and I got some pencils now. I'm gonna get back into writing stuff down, and I've already had, I don't know how many notebooks have disappeared through all of this. All of my notebooks that disappeared were stolen. My ledger that I had at Ken and Leah's, that wasn't technically stolen. They built a wall in the garage and they put all of my stuff up against the wall that was already there before building a wall in front of all of my stuff. So basically my stuff was caged between two walls. It was absurd. Good to be rid of you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper, and no victim left behind.